everybody. This week's Parsha is Parshas Achrei Mos. And the Torah writes, You should observe the laws and the statutes that a person should do and live by them, Ani Hashem. So this is the source of the concept of v'chai b'hem. You should live by them. So our sages say simply this means that a person should not allow mitzvos to be the cause of their death. For example, if a person needs to desecrate the Shabbos to save their life, they should do so. But the Sosebis notes the following fascinating thing. Right after this verse, it talks about a whole litany of immoral practices that were done by the Canaanites. A whole list of incestuous, immoral, sexual practices. And the Sosebis says the following thing. It says, you should observe the mitzvahs asher ha'adam v'chai b'hem, that ha'adam should do v'chai b'hem. Who is ha'adam? Who is the man, the man that will live by them? He says this could also be referring to humanity as a whole. He says that without the Torah, humanity as a whole would eventually diverge into such immoral practices, such violent and brutal practices, that eventually humanity will destroy itself. Only through the Torah, only through the values and the morality and the inspiration and the example of the Torah will humanity live by them. So he says the ha'adam here means humanity. That by you Jews keeping the Torah, you will be able to give humanity life. You will give humanity a moral compass, a moral beacon how to live by that will preserve humanity. Otherwise, humanity will destroy itself. I have a beautiful story that actually illustrates this idea very, very, very profoundly. Rabbi Shlomo Lorincz was a member of Knesset for many years, many decades. And he wrote a memoir called B'mechitzasam, In Their Shadow. And in there he has the following fascinating encounter between him and President Harry Truman. Basically, Harry Truman, after he finished his term as president, he retired and lived in Kasnsas City. And Rabbi Lorincz once visited him. And they sat together, and Rabbi Lorincz asked him, tell me, why is it that you, Harry Truman, why is it that you supported the creation of the State of Israel against all the advice of the State Department and all the advice of your advisors? So Harry Truman said two profound things. Number one, I always had good associations with people of the Jewish faith. When I was a young boy, growing up in Kansas, we had a neighbor who was Jewish. I would often come over to them on Shabbos to help them if they needed something to be addressed on Shabbos. I was their Shabbos guy, so to speak. And they were so nice to me, they'd always give me challah and Shabbos food, and I had very close associations. He says, but of course, that would not be enough to weigh in on the considerations of a whole nation choosing for the State of Israel. He says there's something much deeper. He says, in 1948, there were only two people in the world that knew fully how close the world was to destruction. That was me and Joseph Stalin. We were the only people that really knew how close the world was to utter annihilation, to atomic destruction. And he says, and I knew that the Jewish people have been a beacon of light for humanity since their very creation. And I knew it only because of the Jewish people, their inspiration and their guidance, will be able to guide humanity through these dark times. And that is why I voted for the creation of the State of Israel, because the Jewish people will allow the world to continue to live and not destroy itself. Rabbi Lorincz later took this message to the Knesset and told them how much America and the world expected from the Jewish people. Let's all take this message to heart. Let's indeed be a light to the nations, an inspiration of morality in a world. Let us all have a very wonderful Shabbos.